Greetings, respective viewers. I'm George from Ireland. Well, this video is about proroguing Parliament. So oh my goodness, it's 96 days to go, if I got that right, until the Brexit deadline, 31st of October. So obviously the clock is ticking. This is the countdown to the United Kingdom leaving the European Union. Or will it happen then, or will it happen at all? But anyway, so some hardline Brexiteers have said, why don't we prorogue Parliament to try and prevent that happening? And so many Remainers and some who are Leavers have said that it would be unacceptable to prorogue Parliament as a tactic to prevent Parliament delaying or preventing Brexit. So anyway, there are certain members of Parliament who are sworn to stop Brexit at all hazards. And there are others who dislike Brexit, but it wouldn't actually stand in its way, but would thwart a no deal, would not allow the United Kingdom to leave without having secured an agreement with the European Union about trade, migration and other issues. So I have my ear to the ground, and my sources tell me that Lord Mandelson has got a trick up his sleeve. Lord Mandelson was really the dark prince of New Labour, and he is a very media-savvy manipulator, and he is an absolutely foaming at the mouth Europhile. So coming to the last minute, he will suddenly say, the European Union has thrown the UK a lifeline, we give another chance to delay by a few months, and obviously he wants to prevent it altogether. There'll be Project Fear Mark 2. Remember this drivel we heard in March that there was going to be no food, or that Priti Patel was threatening to try and starve people in the Republic of Ireland into submission, which was a lie. She said nothing about food. It was just a foul slur. So many calumnies will be thrown around against Leavers. That's not to say that Brexiteers have never deceived people. They have. What else? We're going to run out of medicine and blah, blah, blah. So I remember in March, there was a palpable absence of panic. I think people finally got bored of this. And even the last week or so, Remainers got fed up of telling such porky pies. So I don't think people are fearing an economic meltdown. The UK probably will be buffeted by some headwinds in the event of Brexit, and a no-deal one would be quite serious. Pound would fall again, although in some ways it's a good thing. Unemployment might be up. There'll be some trade disruption, but it won't be cataclysmic as many are pretending. Anyway, saying that the dissident Republicans in Ulster, they will start their campaign again. Well, they always wanted to do so, okay, and they might actually do so. But if they commit crime, it is their fault for committing crime. It is not the United Kingdom's fault for being democratic. Victims don't deserve it. For choosing freedom, for choosing independence, that doesn't make the United Kingdom bad. It's absolutely entitled to leave the European Union at any time, for any reason, with a deal, without a deal, even without a referendum. The Treaty of Lisbon has said that's enshrined in that. If you're a Europhile, presumably you're a zealous supporter of the Treaty of Lisbon. Republic of Ireland signed that, UK signed that, all member states signed that. They all gave each other permission to leave, and the UK is invoking that right. But even if it does happen, the fault will be entirely on the side of the terrorists and not remotely on anybody else's side. So that shouldn't stop people. We should not be allowing the IRA to dictate what the United Kingdom does, any more than what Republic of Ireland does should be dictated by loyalist terrorists. That would be unthinkable. It would be utterly unconscionable to capitulate in that way. So Rory Stewart, this Conservative MP, he's sort of a poster boy of some of the Remainers, saying, oh, well, if they prorogue Parliament, we'll just meet anyway. Parliament is not a building, it's the members. Well, that's true, but you obviously have to be quorate, and there are other things. He said in 2003, when it came up to the liberation of Iraq, obviously Blair wasn't required to hold a vote. He chose to do so anyway. Prime Ministers have never done this on military action before. They simply invoke the royal prerogatives. Her Majesty the Queen always acts on the official advice of the Prime Minister. He advises her to authorise military action. She signs off on it, and that's that. So we all know this advice thing is a legal fiction, as the Prime Minister decides. Just doesn't the name of the Queen. Anyway, he said in 2003, some MP said, well, if Blair doesn't hold a parliamentary vote on this, we'll simply assemble Church House, it's the Church of England's administrative headquarters, have offered us the building and we'll hold a vote there. But Blair, he then said that he would hold one because some politicians were threatening to do so even without his say-so. But I mean, Parliament meets when it is summoned. When it is not summoned, it is not Parliament. So obviously it has to be summoned in the name of the Queen, and Prime Minister has a large role in deciding that. There's got to be a speaker there. If he or she's not always there, got to be one of the deputy speakers. So no, if two MPs meet in the pub, that's not Parliament. Even if the majority of the 650 members of Parliament gather and call themselves Parliament, that does not make it a Parliament. You never have to have all 650. I don't know what the number is for it to count as a quorum. So Parliament is prorogued twice a year anyway. These are recesses. So proroguing it one more time would not be unconstitutional. It would be out of sequence, but that's acceptable. The sequence isn't absolute. It's not set in stone. These things are varied before. And it would be with precedent. Okay, way back in 1948, the Labour government prorogued Parliament precisely to prevent the Conservatives stopping one piece of their legislation getting through. They didn't want their timetable to be messed up. They didn't want something to be blocked permanently. Pitt the Younger, when he was Prime Minister, he twice prorogued Parliament, and it was for about 6 months each time. So that is a tactic the government could use. I know it would be contentious, but it would certainly be lawful. So I'm arguing that it would be both lawful and constitutional to do so. Perhaps I repeat myself, is that a tautology? Well, because if it's unlawful, it can't be constitutional. Another tactic could be used, calling an election, to make sure that that goes beyond the 31st of October. Now, there are mechanisms whereby Parliament could be recalled. Obviously, Parliament is dissolved, speech is read out by heralds, Market Cross in Edinburgh. I can't remember the steps of the Royal Exchange in London. I don't know where in Northern Ireland or Wales. And that's that there is no Parliament for a few weeks, and this can go for up to 6 weeks. But the thing is, there's a Fixed Terms Parliaments Act passed under Cameron. 2017 May held an early election, but you need 66% of MPs to vote for an early dissolution. And even then, within 14 days, that can be reversed if Parliament chooses to reverse that and not have an early election. So some Remainers would say, oh, well, we realise what's happening here. Boris Johnson is trying to close down Parliament through holding an early election, and that'll go beyond 31st of October. And Halloween, remember, that's the day when Brexit is supposed to kick in. So they say, we won't allow Fright Night Brexit. We won't vote for an early election. So that might not happen. He can't simply call an early election like Prime Ministers could in days of yore, where it's completely up to Prime Ministerial fiat, again, using royal prerogatives. So that's it. Prorogation of Parliament is not that unusual and is a permissible tactic. And I say it's gone before. It's accrued legitimacy through past usage. That's all from me.